tonight, multiple people from across our area are facing federal drug charges, accused of dealing fentanyl that led to someone dying. The victims include the overdose deaths of an infant and 2 sisters. CBS 12 News reporter Al Pefley, he joins us live now in West Palm Beach with more. Al.
Lily, the feds are going after alleged drug dealers, and just since February, they've had 6 cases, including 1 person who pleaded guilty and 5 others who've been indicted on charges that could send them to prison for a long time.
It's a whole new ballgame here.
David Tarras, a criminal defense attorney in South Florida who specializes in federal cases, says federal authorities are going after drug dealers in a very significant way.
Getting the dealers out of the way is something that they want to do now.
Since February 2024, 1 defendant has pleaded guilty and 5 others in our area have been charged with distribution of a controlled substance, fentanyl, resulting in the death of another. This is a federal charge that carries a minimum sentence of 20 years in prison if they're convicted.
They don't have to prove that the dealer knew that they were distributing fentanyl in order to bring this charge.
In one of the cases, Samantha Yee of Lake Worth is charged in the death of a 10-month-old baby in Boynton Beach. She allegedly sold drugs to a woman in March 2022, and that fentanyl was ingested by the baby, causing her death.
One of those people, he is continuing to speak out against the guilty verdict, now saying the former president will not lose his voting rights in Florida. The governor posting on X saying, quote, "The bottom line is that Donald Trump's vote this November will be one of the millions that demonstrate Florida is now a solid Republican state." The post bringing into question whether Florida or New York laws will go into effect if Trump is sentenced to jail. Our Victoria Cardenas joins us now live at Mar-a-Lago tonight with what experts are saying about this. Victoria?
Yeah, former President Trump is back in Florida at his Mar-a-Lago estate following that guilty verdict in New York. And his ability to vote in Florida all comes down to the sentence imposed by the judge in his hush money case and when or if he completes it. But whether Florida will recognize that now lies in the hands of Governor DeSantis.
This was a rigged, disgraceful trial. The real verdict is going to be November 5th by the people.
Following Donald Trump's guilty verdict in his hush money trial in New York, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis says he will make sure the former president will be able to cast a ballot in his home state come November. Some experts say Trump's conviction on 34 felony counts would make him ineligible to vote. But as the chair of the Florida Clemency Board, Governor DeSantis tweeted Friday that this would be an easy case to qualify for restoration of rights for his former rival to be able to vote for himself in the November election.
And I think the real question here is how quickly is that going to be done? And until we know what President Trump's sentence is going to be in New York, it's very hard to say that that's going to be feasible.
Boca Raton criminal defense attorney David Tarras has helped restore voting rights to several of his clients and says the process could take months. Back in 2018, Florida voters approved a state constitutional amendment to restore voting rights to felons, with the requirement that the convicted felons must first pay all of their fees, fines, and court costs. In New York, the state has allowed people with felony convictions to vote once they're released from incarceration since 2021. But Attorney Tarras says the law as it stands today should be strictly applied. But if there's a debate or uncertainties regarding how the words of the statute read, it could be construed in favor of the applicant.
But what isn't clear is if you're not incarcerated, does that make you eligible to then apply for clemency in Florida? Or does Florida's clemency automatically honor New York's rules of clemency? That is where the law is not clear.